Dominance. That word is often feared. We think of it and violence comes to mind. Bad things happens. No one should be dominated. And yet, so many people want that so much. The intrinsic desire of being dominated is inside so many of us. It's powerful too, as some would be willing to do just about anything to be at the full mercy and whims of someone else. It's so simple in nature. I command you, and you obey. I tell you to get on your fours, you will get on your fours. I tell you to stick your tongue out and act like a puppy dog, you will do it. Really, there's no shades of gray in dominance. You either obey or it doesn't happen. It just does not. See, this is the very nature of pleasure, the very core, the essence of discovering who you are and who they are. Pleasure comes in so many different forms. One of them consists in being in total control of someone else, and much pleasure will flow like a raging cascade when you tell someone to do something and you watch them doing it right away. It can be so simple. It could be just telling them to get on their knees. You're in front of them, so close to them, they want to touch you, but you forbid it. They want to taste you, but you forbid it. They want to stare into your eyes, but yet again, forbidden. You would think that would be so frustrating, and that pleasure consists in accomplishing a task like, for example, you go on a ride and come out of the ride satisfied that you were so terrified of dying that it was a pleasurable experience. But if you put your mind into this, pleasure can also be something you want to do, but cannot do because someone else does not want you to do it. Take a delicious cupcake. It's right there so close to your lips, you could actually taste it with the tip of your tongue. And you know so perfectly well once you do it and bring your tongue back, you will be in culinary heaven for a short while tasting that delicious icing melting in your mouth. You could so easily do that. All it takes is for you to do the action. So simple. But pleasure can be just about that. An invisible barrier between you and that pastry, between you and someone else's skin, something you would love to caress, something you would love to put inside your mouth and feel so firm and even salty after a while. This is your imagination running wild, as it wants you to do it, but the dominant does not want you to do it, and the frustration builds up, but you have to obey since obeying is about rewards eventually. I'll get closer and closer to you. You'll want to grab it with your fingers, but I will tell you to leave your hands exactly where they are right now, and my own pleasure will derive from the fact that I control you, and I'm also waiting for that moment where you will touch me. Just like you, we are both waiting for that moment. Domination is not so binary as you would think. Someone that loves to dominate could just as well love to be dominated. It does not always imply violence, but it can very well involve a form of it, just not the kind of violence that results in injuries, but the kind of violence that can translate into grabbing someone firmly, spanking them, slapping them. Pleasure is a strange world. It is simple as eating a candy and feeling the sweet taste of sugar, or as intense as wanting so much for someone to penetrate you, but the person will not, and you will beg and beg again for it. And if you are good and obedient, eventually you will get your reward, and so your desire will be coming to fruition. Now, grab it, stroke it, bring me to the edge. And when you expect a rush of fluids being released, moaning so loudly, my eyes will stare in your eyes, and I will pull myself out, and so we both enjoy this little moment of frustration together. The end.